one of the biggest things I want you to get out of this module that you can take after this class and take into the real world, if you think, is that the legislative incidence doesn't matter for outcomes in the market. Right? It doesn't matter if the law says that the tax is placed on the buyer has to pay, or the tax is placed on the seller has to pay. It's going to cause the same impact on prices and the same impact on quantities after the tax. Okay? Who the legislators or the lawmakers say has to pay it doesn't matter. Okay? That's the big thing here. So if you go back and watch the two previous videos, the tax on the buyers, we had a quantity after tax of 1.2 million. Tax on the sellers, we had a quantity after tax of 1.2 million. They're the same reduction in quantity, down from 1.4 million down to 1.2. If you look at the impacts on the prices, if you place a tax on the buyers, the price the buyers had to pay was $1.30 in both cases. The price that the seller receives is $1 in both cases. Right? Again, exactly the same. Right. Right. So, in a sense, I've made up these numbers. So I can prove this to you if we want to have like equations for the different lines, and we solve systems of equations with the tax. It's really easy to show. I don't want to go through all that math to convince you. So you can just like trust me that I've actually done this math to do it, and it's actually going to happen every single time, right? So this is like one of the main lessons I want you to learn from from economics on the impact of taxes. Is it doesn't matter that the government says that we have payroll taxes that employers have to pay. It's going to affect workers and it's going to affect the firms the same amount. Okay, it doesn't matter that Social Security taxes are split 50-50 between workers have to pay or employers have to pay. It's good. That's what the law says. The legislative incidence, the impacts in terms of lower wages and reductions in employment is going to be exactly the same. Okay. The reason is, like you think like for a political reason, voters are workers for the most part. And, legislators like, well, I don't want to say like the workers have to pay this tax because they're going to vote me out. But if I say, well, the employers have to pay the tax, then workers are going to think, oh, it's not at a cost to me when it actually is, right? It's just more of like voters didn't take an economics class all the time, right? And so it's just a fact that not that many people know, and it's not salient to them when they vote. And so it's easy for legislators to make and place taxes on non-voters, essentially groups like employers, to raise revenue and get effects because voters don't actually understand that's going to make them worse off as well.